Let's talk about it. There's a man watching this right now, and you're wondering why God's been so quiet. You've been faithful. You've been doing everything you're supposed to do. You've been trying to walk in purpose. You've been trying to lead with integrity, and still you can't hear him. No signs, no answers, no breakthrough. Just silence, and that silence, it's starting to mess with your head. You're asking yourself, did I miss the turn? Did I take the wrong job? Did I mess up the relationship? Is God even listening anymore? But I need to tell you something that might just save your faith right now. God's silence is not his absence. Let me say that again for the man who feels like quitting. God's silence is not his absence. I know what it feels like to walk through a season where every prayer feels like it hits a wall, where you're begging God for clarity and all you get is confusion, where you're trying to stay strong but the silence is so loud it feels like it's yelling at you, you're forgotten. But brother, you're not forgotten, you're not invisible, you're not off track. You're in a season of refinement, not rejection. See, here's what I've learned when God is silent. It's because he's working on something in you before he reveals what he wants to do through you. Silence is part of the process. It's not punishment, it's preparation. I'll never forget a time in my life when I felt completely alone. My career was stuck. I was watching other people get opportunities I prayed for. Relationships were falling apart. I kept asking, God, what did I do wrong? And all I heard was nothing. And that nothing, it was painful. It felt like abandonment, but here's what I discovered. In that silence, God wasn't absent. He was present in a way I couldn't see yet. Because while I was asking for direction, he was building my endurance. While I was praying for promotion, he was working on my patience. While I was chasing results, he was trying to show me how to rest in him. And for some of you, that's exactly where you are. You've mistaken his silence for a no, when really it's a not yet. You're asking for the next level, but God's saying, son, I'm trying to get you ready so when I give it to you, it doesn't crush you. Because here's the truth, blessings come with weight. And God's not going to bless you until your shoulders are strong enough to carry what he's about to put on them. So if it feels like he's quiet, don't panic. Don't shut down, don't walk away, lean in, listen harder. Be still, because some of the most powerful transformations happen when nothing seems to be happening at all. God is strategic. He doesn't waste time, he uses it, even in your waiting, even in your silence. And listen, I know you're tired of being the man who's always almost there. I know you're tired of wondering if the effort even matters anymore. But I came to tell you, it does. Your obedience in the quiet is louder in heaven than you think. God is watching how you respond when the spotlight's off. When no one's clapping, when it's just you, your discipline, and your faith. So don't give up because you haven't heard from him in a while. God hasn't changed his mind about you. He hasn't canceled the calling. He hasn't closed the door on your purpose. He's just doing what only he can do, preparing you in private, so that when the time is right, you can handle what he has for you in public. Keep praying, keep trusting, keep building, even if it's quiet, even if you don't feel him, because one day this silence you're in, it'll make sense. You'll look back and realize that was the season where God made you stronger. That was the season he deepened your roots. That was the season you became the man who could carry the promise. So hold on, my brother. The silence is not the end of your story. It's the start of something sacred. There's a lie I need to expose right now. It's the lie that says you're behind. You look around and everyone seems to be moving forward. Your boys are getting married. People you went to school with are launching businesses, having kids, posting perfect relationships, booking flights, buying houses. And here you're trying to keep your faith alive, trying to stay focused, trying to make peace with the fact that what you thought would have happened by now still hasn't. And slowly, that lie creeps in. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I messed up too bad. Maybe God's blessing everyone but me. Let me speak truth to you today. You are not behind. You are being built. See, the world moves fast. It glorifies the highlight reel. But God doesn't work on the world's schedule. He works on your soul. And sometimes what looks like delay is actually design. When a building is going to be tall, the foundation has to go deep. So what feels like slowness in your life might actually be strategy. God is taking time to build you because what He's building through you will need strength, stability, and spiritual maturity. You ever seen a skyscraper go up? At first, it looks like nothing's happening. Months go by, and you don't see anything above the ground. But that's because the foundation is being laid beneath the surface. Concrete, steel, support beams. All of it hidden, all of it necessary, because without it, the building would collapse under pressure the moment the winds came. And you, brother, you are that skyscraper. You've been wondering why you haven't risen yet. You've been frustrated that other men seem to be 30 stories in the air while you're still staring at the dirt. But here's the truth. Your foundation is being strengthened for something higher. God's not just preparing a life that looks good. He's preparing one that lasts. And that takes time. I get it. The waiting hurts, especially when you're doing the right thing. You're not out here running wild. You've tried to keep your heart clean. You've resisted the shortcuts. You've walked away from quick fixes that could have made you feel better for the moment. And yet, you feel stuck. But stuck doesn't mean still. God is moving even when it looks like nothing's changing. He's building your resilience. He's teaching you how to be steady. He's helping you unlearn the lies this world taught you. Lies like, if it hasn't happened by 30, you're too late. Lies like, if she didn't choose you, you're not worthy. Lies like, if they're winning, you must be losing. No, my brother. You are not late. You are not lost. You are not less than. You are in the middle of a divine construction zone. And I need you to stop comparing your build to someone else's breakthrough. You don't know what it took for them to get there. And you don't know what they sacrificed. Sometimes the blessings that came fast didn't come with foundation. That's why so many people are collapsing privately while pretending to win publicly. You don't need to fake it. You just need to be faithful, because when God builds you in secret, He reveals you in strength. And when He decides the time is right, no delay, no detour, no devil can stop the door He opens. So if it feels like life is moving without you, breathe. If it feels like love is happening for everyone, but you hold tight. If it feels like your purpose is too far to reach, keep walking. You're not behind, you're being built. And what God is building in you, it's going to outlast trends, outshine comparison, and outlive every timeline you thought you missed. So stay in the process, trust the pace, and let God finish what He started. Because when He reveals the finished product, everyone who thought you were behind will see you were being positioned all along. Let me ask you something real. Who are you when no one's affirming you? Who are you when the relationship doesn't work out? Who are you when the job falls through? When the deal gets delayed? When the people you thought would be there disappear? Because I've learned something in my own journey, and I want to pass it to you straight. Delay doesn't just test your patience. Delay reveals your identity. A lot of us, especially as men, we get our identity from doing, from performance, from what we can build, protect, achieve, attract. And when all of that gets stripped away in a season of waiting, when life slows down, when the text doesn't come back, when the business isn't moving, when the plan falls apart, that's when we find out what we're really made of, because the weight has a way of uncovering what's underneath. And for some of us, what's underneath is fear, or insecurity, or shame, or a belief we picked up years ago that says, I'm only valuable if I'm winning. But God's not trying to shame you. He's trying to refine you. See, when God says wait, He's not just working on the situation. He's working on you. He's stripping away the false identities, the ones you built around being chosen, being celebrated, being needed. Because those identities feel good until they don't. What happens when she leaves and you don't know who you are without her? What happens when the deal doesn't close and you start questioning if you're even worthy? What happens when your image says strong, but inside you feel broken? The delay exposes all of it, not to hurt you, but to heal you. God uses the waiting season to show you that your identity can't be rooted in things that change. Not in a title, not in a timeline, not in a relationship status. Because if your identity depends on something you can lose, you'll never be secure. But when your identity is grounded in Him, in what He says about you, then no delay can derail your destiny. Because your value doesn't fluctuate with circumstance. It's constant, unshakable. There was a moment in my life when everything slowed down. The doors I thought would open didn't. The people I thought would support me didn't. The things I thought would validate me, they vanished. And I had to sit in that silence and ask myself, God, who am I now? And I'll be honest with you, I didn't like the answer at first. Because the truth was, I had made my identity dependent on being productive, on being wanted, on being seen. But God wasn't interested in that version of me. He was interested in the real me, the one He created before I ever earned a paycheck, the one He loved before I ever got a yes, the one who could stand tall even when life sat me down. Brother, God wants you to know you don't have to perform to be loved. You don't have to succeed to matter. You don't have to be chosen by them to be called by Him. And the only way to know that in your bones is to go through the wait. Because in the waiting season, you'll learn how to affirm yourself. You'll learn how to speak truth over your life when nobody else is clapping. You'll learn how to stand in front of the mirror and say, even if I never get what I thought I wanted, I'm still enough. I'm still chosen. I'm still His. So don't rush out of the wait. Don't run to the next distraction, the next hookup, the next high, just to feel something again. Sit in it. Let God do what only He can do, because what He's doing in this season is giving you something most men never get, a sense of identity that can't be shaken. And when you come out of this, you won't just be stronger, you'll be clearer. You'll know who you are. You'll know what you're worth, and nothing and no one will ever be able to take that from you again. Let's be honest, waiting is hard. We don't talk about it enough as men because we're taught to move, to act, to go get it. So when we're forced to wait, we don't always know what to do with ourselves. We get restless. We get frustrated. We start questioning our value. But here's what I need you to hear today, and I want you to take this deep into your spirit. Waiting doesn't weaken you. Waiting forges you. The strength you've been praying for, the maturity, the clarity, the inner peace, the ability to lead with wisdom, it's not coming from success. It's not coming from attention. It's not even coming from affirmation. It's being forged in the fire of the wait. I know you feel like nothing is happening. I know you're asking God, why am I still here? But let me remind you of something. God doesn't forge men in the spotlight. He forges them in the shadows, because that's where real strength is born. You think you're just sitting still, but heaven sees you being sharpened. You're being sharpened every time you choose discipline when you'd rather give in. Every time you stay faithful to the process, even when it's not producing results yet. Every time you show up with excellence, even when no one's watching. Brother, strength isn't about muscles. It's about mastery. And in the wait, God is teaching you how to master the inner man. He's showing you how to pray when the answers don't come. He's teaching you how to worship without applause. He's building a man who doesn't just talk faith, but lives it in the dark. See, a lot of people want to skip the waiting season. They want the crown without the crushing. They want the blessing without the burden. But If you want to carry something that lasts, you need to be strong enough to hold it. And that strength, it can't be faked, it can't be rushed, it's forged day by day in the waiting. Think about a sword. It doesn't come out of the fire ready. First, it's put into the flames. Then it's pounded, shaped, stretched. Over and over, fire, pressure, cooling, more fire, more pressure, and eventually something powerful is formed. But there is no shortcut to that process, and there is no shortcut to becoming the man God designed you to be. You want to lead a family one day. You want to walk in purpose, carry peace, handle money with integrity, love a woman with your whole heart. Then you need to be forged, because your future is heavy, and if you're not strong, you'll drop it. So don't despise this season, don't numb it, don't run from it. Let it do its work, because while it may feel like it's breaking you, it's actually building you. It's building endurance, it's building emotional maturity, it's building spiritual depth, it's building habits you'll need when you get what you prayed for. This is the work nobody sees, but one day they will. One day they'll look at you and think it happened overnight. But you'll know, no, this strength was earned in silence, in surrender, in seasons when I felt forgotten, but I stayed faithful anyway. That's real strength. That's forged strength, and it only comes from the wait. Let me encourage the man nobody sees right now. The one who's been grinding in silence, the one who shows up every day and does the right thing even when it costs him, the one who keeps choosing integrity when compromise looks easier, the one who's praying in private, serving without credit, fighting to stay whole in a broken world. You've been faithful, but you've been invisible, and maybe you're starting to wonder, does it even matter? Let me speak directly to your soul. Faithfulness in the unknown brings favor in the open. I get it. We live in a world that rewards visibility. If people can't see it, they think it doesn't count. But that's not how God works. God is not watching the highlight reel of your life. He's watching the hidden moments. The unseen obedience, the choices nobody applauds, because God is not building a brand. He's building a man. And the thing about God's process is this: He often hides you before He reveals you. Why? Because He's more concerned with who you're becoming than what you're producing. The problem is, the weight gets heavy. You're faithful, but the doors aren't opening yet. You're consistent, but nobody's calling your name. You're committed, but it seems like everybody else is winning while you're still wondering. But brother, hear me, God keeps score differently. He sees the private pain, the quiet sacrifice, the humble persistence, and in His time He rewards what's done in secret with favor that no man can deny. The enemy wants you to believe that your hidden season is a waste, but it's not a waste, it's preparation. Every seed you've sown in silence is setting you up for a harvest in the open. And here's what I've learned. The longer the seed stays in the ground, the deeper the roots grow. So yes, it may feel like nothing's sprouting, but underneath, something powerful is happening. You're developing endurance. You're building a track record with heaven. You're learning how to trust when you can't trace. And when God sees that, He releases favor, the kind of favor you didn't have to force, the kind of favor that opens doors no man can shut, the kind of favor that surrounds you, follows you, and fights for you. But here's the key: that kind of favor only comes when you've proven you can be faithful when there's no spotlight, when it's just you, your convictions, and your Creator. I remember a season in my own life when I felt completely overlooked. I was showing up, doing the work, honoring people, staying committed to my assignment, but nothing was changing. It was hard not to get bitter. It was hard not to look around and think, what about me, God? And that's when God whispered something that shook me. If you can't be faithful here, you're not ready for there. It hit me. God wasn't withholding, He was watching, watching how I handled the unknown, watching how I treated people when I wasn't being promoted, watching if I would still give Him glory even when the stage was empty, and eventually, when the time was right, not when I wanted it, but when I was ready, favor showed up. Opportunities came, doors opened, but it wasn't random. It was the result of faithfulness. So if you're in a season right now where you're asking, does this even matter? Yes, it does. You're not just going through the motions, you're passing a test, because God never wastes obedience. He always honors character, and He rewards faithfulness every time. So keep doing what's right. Keep building in the quiet. Keep showing up when it's not sexy, because when the favor comes, and it will, it's going to come fast, it's going to come full, and it's going to come in front of everyone who doubted you. But only if you stay faithful in the unknown. If you're anything like me, there's been a moment, maybe a lot of moments, where you've looked up at God and said, "Did you forget about me?" Because the silence was too long, the doors stayed shut, the prayers seemed unanswered, and your heart, it started to believe that maybe God moved on without you. But let me speak something over you that I believe with every fiber of my being. The wait doesn't mean God forgot. It means God is focused, focused on you, focused on the details, focused on crafting something in your life that requires more than just a quick fix or an easy yes. Because God doesn't do random. He's not careless. He's intentional. And when He takes His time, it's not because He's distracted, it's because He's designing something precise. You're not sitting in a season of rejection. You're sitting in a season of refinement. You're not being ignored. You're being invested in, and the longer it takes, the more precise the promise. Let me be real. I know what it feels like to sit with unanswered prayers. I know what it feels like to give your all and see nothing move. And I know the fear that creeps in late at night that says, maybe this is just my story. Maybe I don't get the breakthrough. Maybe the love, the purpose, the peace, maybe it just wasn't meant for me. But that's a lie, and I'm here to break it. Because if God didn't love you, you'd already have the thing. If God was done with you, you'd already be settled, but in something less. The wait is evidence that He still cares too much to give you something before you're ready, or before it's ready. Do you hear me? God's not just preparing you for the promise. He's also preparing the promise for you. Think about that. Some of what you're waiting on isn't delayed because of anything wrong with you. It's delayed because God is putting the finishing touches on something so good, so right, so aligned, that if you had received it earlier, you would have mishandled it, or it would have mishandled you. Sometimes the thing you're praying for is being protected by God's silence, and that silence isn't punishment. It's precision. It's the kind of care only a good father can give. You see, we want fast. God wants full. We want now. God wants right. So don't confuse quiet with absence. God is more present in the wait than you can imagine. He's been with you in the moments you cried alone. He's seen the decisions you made when no one else knew. He's been watching how you've kept your heart soft, even when it would have been easier to shut it down. And He's proud of you. Yeah, I said it. He's proud, because you haven't quit. You're still standing. You're still believing, even if your faith is hanging by a thread. That's not weakness. That's warrior strength. And God sees it, and He's still working. So don't let the delay define you. Let it develop you. Don't let the silence scare you. Let it shape you, because when the time is right, and believe me, God always knows when the time is right, the very thing you thought He forgot. It'll come rushing in like it never left, and you'll realize He wasn't late. He wasn't distracted. He was focused on you, so keep going, keep trusting, keep showing up, not because it feels good, but because God is still good. Your wait is not wasted, and your story, it's still being written. God hasn't forgotten you. He's just not finished. Listen, if you're still watching this, I know this message was for you. Not by accident. Not just another YouTube video in the algorithm. This was a divine interruption, because God saw what you've been carrying. He heard the prayers you didn't even have the words for. He knows how heavy the waiting has been, and He needed to remind you you're not forgotten. You are not too late. You are not behind. You are not invisible. You are becoming in the wait. So don't quit. Don't give up. And don't let this moment pass without doing something bold. Backhand index pointing right if this message hit you like it. Not just to support the channel, but to tell the world, I'm still standing in faith. Speaking head, drop a comment and let me know. Where are you waiting? What are you holding on to faith for? Let's make this comment section a space where men can be real, not perform, not posture, but heal. Outbox Trey, and if you know a brother, a friend, a cousin, a coworker, a man who's on the edge, share this video with him. Sometimes one word of truth at the right time can save somebody's life. Bellhop Bell, and if this resonated with your spirit, subscribe. This isn't just content. This is calling. This is a place where men grow, where we build, where we wait well. God's not done with you, man, and neither are we. I love you. I see you. And I believe in what God is doing in your life, even in the dark. Stay faithful, stay focused, and don't forget sometimes the wait is the greatest gift. Until next time, keep walking, even when you don't know where it's going. Because He does. Amen.